In this video I'm gonna show you my favorite Ironeye build to farm easy wins in the Deep of Night mode. I've been using the following relic setup for a couple of weeks now to climb my way to rank 5. I know how frustrating it can be when the enemies one-shot you once you get above the death tree, but by using these effects you can maximize the potential of Ironeye, dealing a lot of damage with poison and pierce damage, while also being almost impossible to hit due to the nature of the character. Be mindful that you might have these effects in different order and colors. I'm just showcasing the relics I got so you can know which effects you should be looking for. Your build doesn't have to look identically like mine. Of course, this build is not perfect. There are scenarios where it's actually difficult to rely on this character's playstyle, but today I'm gonna break down my thought process during a depth 5 game, and you will see how despite I am not even close to be a great player, I can win almost every game consistently. I'd say that I'm winning 8 out of 10 games I play every day. So with that being said, if you enjoy this type of videos, I would highly appreciate if you drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more Nightreign videos. Now let's jump straight into the run. So the first thing I do every game is open my map to see which locations I have close by. In this case I have the Fire Mega Church close, I have the Troll Cave close as well. So at this point what I am thinking is about getting to the level 2 or 3 as soon as possible, clearing this camp. One of the most important things to consider once you are climbing the ranks is that you don't want to die here because it's gonna be a waste of time with a little reward, you know. There is no problem if you die later against a major enemy, a boss fight, a strong boss fight, but you don't want to lose immediately here. And as you can see, I received a rock hit there, and a rock hit shouldn't be dealing that much damage. In real life it will deal that amount of damage, but in the game normally that wouldn't do anything, and in this case it's massive. So basically what we want to try here is not taking hits. And the easiest way to do that is by playing safe, and that is exactly what I am trying to do here. I'm exploring this part of the tree because sometimes you can find a chest there, and thankfully we found a talisman here, so I'm gonna go for it. The important thing here is just finishing with it as fast as possible, and once we get the talisman we are gonna be okay. In this case I was lucky and I got the Spear Talisman. That talisman is pretty insane with Ironeye because you have a 20% damage boost with the counter attacks. That is something you can Google about because it's a little bit difficult to explain. But it's a good talisman with Ironeye. You have to keep it if you have Ironeye. So I'm defeating these enemies to gather a little bit of more wounds. And I don't like how this start went, because if you count the time already, we've been spending a little bit of time here. So it is not one of my most optimal starts, but now we are going for the Fire Monk. First I'm gonna try to find an Everjail key, but we were not lucky and we didn't find one. So now I'm gonna go for the Fire Monk. This guy is pretty free. What you have to do here is start with the critical hit with a backstab, and then you can mark him and start dealing damage at distance. This is where I want to start explaining why this playstyle is gonna help you to climb the ranks pretty easily. And that's because you don't have to be really skillful, you just have to be patient, and you have to be smart when it comes to managing your stamina and your skill. I will say that the most important thing to have here is the character skill cooldown reduction that we have in the base relics, because that will allow you to have your skill with a higher frequency, dealing a little bit of more damage. Despite they nerfed the hit you deal with the mark now, with the poison effect, it is still pretty decent. It is nerfed now, but it's not as bad as you might think it is. It's actually decent. So this character is still reliable, and I am still using it to maintain myself in the depth 5 to test other characters. But honestly, if you have a decent, an honest recommendation, it's not worth it. If you want to climb the ranks, which is why I'm making this video, this is the character you want to use. But having to grind all the way up to rank 5 is not fun, unless you are like you enjoy this type of game so much, this type of randomness in the game. It's okay, but if not, then I don't recommend it. In this case I decided to go for this enemy because it's free. The Hippo is a free enemy. You will notice that in your games Especially with Ironeye, you will find a bunch of enemies that you can fight at early levels and you will still deal a lot of damage, and one of them is the Hippo. The Hippo is pretty free, it has a very slow moveset, it doesn't have the second phase it has in the DLC of Elden Ring. So it's a pretty free enemy, you just have to manage your mark, your stamina and your resources basically. But you're gonna be beating this type of enemies pretty fast. If you are a little bit more risky, you can fight the Lion as well. That Lion Misbegotten Warrior, you can go for it as well. Because sometimes you can deal headshots on him and you can interrupt his attacks. But honestly I wouldn't go for that guy because it's very annoying. As you can see, I picked this weapon because it has the periodical gleam blades as passive effects. So I'm gonna be running this passive effect because it's awesome. You have to be looking for advantages in this game mode. In Nightreign, it has always been important to have some decent passive effects, but in this game mode is a high priority thing. You don't have to ignore the fact that you can make your character significantly stronger depending on the things you can be crafting during the expedition. In this case I was lucky and the troll is not modded, but if you have your troll modded, I don't recommend you to fight it unless you are Executor, because Executor is capable of defeating it quite fast, but Ironeye is not able to do that. The trolls are weak to slash damage and to fire damage, but in this case we're dealing pierce damage and poison. It's effective as you can see, but because it's not modded. If it was modded, it will take twice longer, and we don't want that. So here I was lucky, I got my level 3 stone, the big stone basically. And now we can upgrade the bow to the highest level possible without the crater. In this case we don't got the crater, that's really unfortunate. So you gotta be looking for these stones. If you have the troll modded, I recommend you to go to the upper caves. Those caves are significantly easier to do, especially the one with the pumpkin head guy. That one is the easiest big stone you can get, so I recommend you to go for that one. But if you get a decent troll here, then go for it. It will depend on the equipment you have. So now here I'm trying to get some extra runes to try to reach the level 5, but it's not gonna be enough. I'm checking what enemy I have available there, but I notice it's a Grafted Scion. The Grafted Scion is actually manageable with Ironeye, but it can be dangerous, so I decided to go to the castle. And that is basically the strategy I have in mind every time. I climb to the level 4 or 5, I try to upgrade my weapon as much as possible, and then I'm gonna go farm the castle. It's gonna be the same strategy we use for the base runs, but in this case it's gonna be even more important. And in the regular runs you can go for the bosses first, but in this case I recommend you to farm as much as you possibly can the regular enemies. If you got crucibles, it's gonna be significantly better, it's gonna be a lot faster to level up. But the Banished Knights are easier, that is the main advantage of these guys. You just have to be patient and start farming your runes. It's gonna be a little... It depends on how you like to play. As I previously told you, this might not be the most fun build, but it is the most reliable to secure the win. And that is the key here. You have to be patient, you have to be looking for the openings you need, and this way you're gonna be climbing slowly during the match, making your character stronger and increasing your chances of winning. As you can see, I am taking the time here to see which effects I can use. The effects that increases your damage and your stance damage when two-handed or using two armaments don't work with bows, so don't carry them. It's not gonna help you with Ironeye. And here I'm gonna keep farming the Banished Knights, and if you pay attention now, I actually turned the aggro of the Lion and the Banished Knight on the other side of the scenario where I'm fighting. The thing is that they can't go to this side where I'm fighting right now, these other two Banished Knights. Those guys cannot push me. So I'm gonna take the time to finish with these guys, and then I'm gonna do something that is really bad, but yeah, we are bad players, it's okay. That's why we are using this character to climb the way easier. But first we have to finish with the knights in this side of the map. As you can see, we are gathering runes slowly, but we are doing it. And without risking it too much. This way, we're increasing our chances of winning or reducing the chances of losing a lot of points. Because the further we progress to the expedition, the less points we lose. So that's gonna be really important. And this is the trick I'm talking about. You can do this with Ironeye. If you stay close to the edge, you can deal a lot of damage on your targets. And they are not gonna be able to do anything. If you have something additional, like in this case I had some extra kukris, so I'm gonna use them to proc bleed. But if you don't have them, you just keep using your bow and you're gonna be fine. The main idea here is getting rid of the lion, because the other knight is not high priority. The lion is actually more important. And now we're gonna go level up. Now we have almost 100k runes. So we are gonna level up as much as possible. I think it's good enough to level 8. So yeah, we are level 8 now. And I'm gonna keep farming as much as I can. In this case, I think I made a mistake. It would have been better to just keep farming the top of the castle. Oh no, I actually came for this tree. But yeah, I went here for my reward. But it was better just to go for the guys on top. And then coming back for this guy. So something that happens a lot is that you will notice, I don't know if you are pretty chill, but when I play this type of games where it's something in the middle, in this case your rank, let's say it that way, I get a little bit tense and that affects my decision making a little bit. So I tend to make bad decisions and that might affect your judgment. But yeah, for instance here, that is completely stupid. You can do that, we can get them, but it would have been better if I just spend this time farming the guys on top, getting more runes, and then coming back for my reward, and farming the knight I just get, and ignoring these two guys I just defeated for no reason. So that's some feedback so you don't make the same mistakes. But the idea is farming the castle. As you can see, we are level 8 now. With the crucibles can be significantly better. We can even reach level 12 or 11, even 13 if we are lucky and we start farming them early. It will depend a lot on what you have available for your game. I recommend, with the Crucible Knights, I recommend you to come to the castle immediately, but you never know when you're gonna be getting those enemies. So you have to like adapt, you know. If you get your map, you see what you get and you adapt. But the concept is the same. You upgrade your weapon as much as possible, you level as much as possible, and once you're level 4 or 5, it will be perfect for you to go to the castle with this character. With other characters like Rider, I prefer first to be level 7 or 6 before going to the castle. But with Ironeye, with level 5 or 4, you're gonna be just fine. And as you can see, I'm trying to farm more enemies to reach the level 9, but I think I won't be able to do it. In this case, I decided to take the risk of defeating the Grafted Scion. In this case, it was actually kind of a little bit lucky that I got it, because as you can see, we are playing in a very pressure environment. The ring is closing a lot of us, the guy is red, and we are level 9. We are actually level 9. I didn't even notice when we leveled up, but yeah. So here I'm fighting for the level 10. But it's something that I wouldn't recommend to do a lot if you are not like comfortable doing it. In this case, I think I have a decent gear, so I will do it. And I have to use my time as effectively as possible. But if you think this is too risky, you can do it in the next day. You're gonna finish with the night boss, and then you get this one. But here I wanted to have a little bit more of an advantage, so I decided to face this guy. Thankfully, I built a little bit of the mark, and I had my ulti, so we had a lot of options to work with. The thing here is that I get nervous because of the pressure of the sun, so I didn't even get to the grace, and I didn't even pick the reward. So that is the reason why I think maybe it was not the best idea. But we defeated, and now we will have that extra time in the next round, in the next day. Now, as soon as you see these two guys, that means we are gonna be fighting the stupid Knights Cavalry. That's one of the worst bosses you can get, because they tend to not respect the aggro turn. They will attack you at the same time sometimes, and that might dramatically increase the difficulty of the fight. But try to do what I'm trying to do here. It's keep a look on both of them. So don't lose the eye on one of them, because it might jump you and destroy you in one single hit. So here, the camera will always troll you unless you are fighting 1v1. And even in 1v1s, the camera will troll you as well. Don't trust your camera a lot. Try to learn to play a little bit without locking in. Especially, maybe not to attack, but maybe to watch your surroundings. It's important for you to get used to unlock again on the character, so you are capable of being more aware of what is going on. Here the cool thing is that I already got the poison on the horse, so it's gonna be down soon. And the cool thing as well is that you can also hit the knights directly with Ironeye, so you don't have to play to kick them out of the horse and then hit them. Now it's a 1v1 situation. It's significantly easier this way. You just have to be careful and play around your mark. This is basically your strategy is taking distance. Once the enemy is getting close to you, use the mark, take distance, deal some hits, and then use the mark again. And that's gonna be the strategy in general, and you will see that it's gonna work fantastically. Now this enemy is down, and you have to decide which passive effects you have to get. This is something more basic. You have to already know what you need. So yeah, I cannot advise you which effects you have to take every time. With Ironeye, I recommend you to always pick the improved thrusting counter attack, or improve physical damage, or more resistance, more HP, something in that threshold, you know? Things of that type. Now we are going to this church, because despite we are gonna die if we take a hit of a boss. It's really important to have some flasks, because sometimes you will get hit by some regular enemy, and it's very important to be able to heal. That is also pretty basic, so I don't think I need to explain why we are taking this church. But I think I really have to do it, because the church are not high priority in this game mode, especially if you are playing with Ironeye. The churches will be high priority if you were a tank like Guardian or Rider. If you're playing that type of build, maybe I will say that that's your priority. And if you have a lot of damage negation. But in this case, we are trying to provide the effectiveness of the build through damage. So if the churches are close to your path, go for them. If they are not, you better look for the boss or something that can give you runes to upgrade your level. If you're level 13, level 4 or level 14, it's pretty normal that you're gonna get one-shotted by a boss fight. But if you're level 15, you might survive one of the weakest attacks of some bosses. So you have a chance there. Now we're gonna see what enemy we have down the castle. We have the lion. As I previously told you, I don't like the lion early. But now we are level 10, so I think I can handle that guy. But as you can see, I treat him with a lot of respect. I don't go crazy here, because this guy can one-shot me, and it has some dirty combos with the greatsword. Especially the spinning attack. I don't know why I cannot dodge that attack properly, so I just rather keep my distance. In this zone, what makes it extremely annoying is the pillars, because they can block your sight, and that might affect how your camera is locked in the target. There, my camera trolled me, and somehow I lost the track of the enemy, so I just decided to use my ult immediately and lock in again. So that is a victory, but honestly, when I was playing, it felt close, and I'm pretty sure one hit of that guy would have one-shotted me. So you gotta be, as you can see, what I am trying to show you is the decision making here. So if there it was a Royal Revenant, I would have passed. I wouldn't have taken that fight if it was a Royal Revenant. But it was a Lion that say I can handle it. If you see a Belverin Hunter with this character, it's pretty easy. With the same strategy, you go to distance, deal some arrows, use the skill, take some distance, use some arrows, and then use the skill again. Here I'm trying to farm some more runes, but I'm almost getting cooked by this regular knight. So you have to be careful. I honestly think that these enemies are a little bit meaningless, so I shouldn't be spending a lot of time on them. Here I notice we have a meteorite, which means it's a falling star beast, but it's a little bit far away from my location, so I just ignore it. And then I keep farming, because I want to reach level 15 to have the higher chances of surviving. And as I already have some decent passive effects, my priority right now is reaching level 15. So I deal the highest amount of damage possible, and I have a slightly higher chance of surviving. What I haven't done yet, or I'm not sure if I did already, is getting a Wending Grace. If you have time to get a Wending Grace, do it as much as you can, as soon as you can, so you don't forget about having it later. Because it might happen a bunch of times that you are getting to the day 2 night boss, and you don't have all the Wending Graces you can acquire from the merchants. You can acquire at max 2 Wending Graces from the merchants if you have the village merchant, but if you have the regular one, you can only acquire 1. So you really want that. You really want to have that second chance in your inventory, because what the game is basically asking you at this difficulty is not making mistakes. And yeah, how you're not gonna make mistakes if you're just a person, dude? Because I sometimes I am like, okay, game, I feel like this is too tough to me. Like you're being a little bit too excessive. I really think that they should have increased the rune acquisition slightly once you reach the depth 4 or 5. Because here is where we will actually struggle. And here I made a huge mistake, because I tried to time that attack and use my skill, and I got hit by the attack. The best thing to do there was maybe using it immediately, or trying to run back a little bit more and then using it. But I stood still and I died. So bad idea there. Now what I'm gonna try to do is to farm to recover my runes and get rid of that guy. I don't know what I'm actually gonna do here. It's actually a high risk situation, but I'm gonna try to play it properly. Yeah, and as he's gonna do the same attack, I just go for it. I use the ulti, because I don't wanna waste more time, and I don't wanna lose those runes. And I was a little mad at this guy, I'm not gonna lie, so a few seconds to show him who's boss. Okay, that is completely unnecessary. You don't have to do that, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, bro. At this point, I'm making a review of the things I did well and the things I did wrong, so you don't have to do those things wrong. Now I see how the ring is closing. I level up, and I'm gonna go back. At this point, I haven't checked what enemies on top of the castle, so I think that is what I'm gonna do here. That is something I should have done before, especially on all those moments where I wasted time. I could have taken that time to check which enemies on top of the castle, so I know if that fight is worth it, and if it's not, then I spend the time farming the not useful enemies. But in this case, I want to give it a shot. Let's see if we can find another one. And it paid well. It is the deer. But imagine if I would have checked it in the first day, my level will be higher already, my damage will be higher already, and I could be focusing on the enemies that I haven't explored yet, that are in the north side of the map. So here I almost make a mistake as well. I'm trying to stay in the front of feet, because that way I'm gonna like glitch this guy. You can do that with every class, and I'd say that it's a little bit more difficult with Ironeye, But you can do it with every class. Stay in the front foot, and sometimes the guy's just gonna try to look for you, and you're gonna be able to land some hits there. This is one of your best enemies you can have. And here the decision is pretty obvious. Improve ranged weapon attacks. You're gonna be looking for that buff a lot with Ironeye. And even if without the buff you're gonna be okay, but in this case this is a good way to boost your damage. Now I know where the ring is gonna close. Well, not exactly, but I know it's gonna be far away from where I am right now. So now I'm getting these enemies, and at this point I don't think it's that bad now to try to get small enemies, because we are in the end, we already progressed through the run a lot. So if we can reach the level 14 through normal enemies, that means that by completing the day 2 boss we are gonna be reaching the level 15. So here is exactly what I'm trying to do, is trying to reach that level 14. And I'm pretty close to get it. I need like 70,000 runes. So I need just a little bit more. And I want to get those runes by easy means, you know, before facing a difficult boss. Here I notice we have a scarab. I don't know why. I think I didn't finish with that scarab, because I already knew that I had some... that I had a decent amount of runes already. So I spotted the Blackblade Kindred. It's a difficult enemy. I don't recommend you to fight it at all with Ironeye, especially in this game mode. I'd say in this game mode, if you're Ironeye in a regular expedition or in depth 2 or 1, go for it. It's gonna be okay. But if you are in depth 5, try to avoid the unnecessary difficultiness, or if that's a word. And with this guy, you just have to be careful to not troll the game. In this case, it's really unlucky that it's in a really strange surface, so I can get the crit hit properly. And now as soon as he's gonna swap the faces, I'm gonna use my ulti so I avoid that damage. So here it was an easy win. That means level 14, and it also means that we are close to the level 15, so I'm gonna be trying to reach that before the final boss fight. Here I obtained a damage negation item that I decided to not replace for the improved crit hits. Huge mistake here, guys. I should have dropped that improved crit hits and kept that damage negation at full HP, because that was gonna be our best. I don't know why I didn't do that, but it would have been the best. This run I'm showcasing right now is not deathless, but I think it could have been deathless if I wouldn't have made that mistake with the Banished Knight, and if I would have picked that damage negation item. So now we're gonna get out of there because I don't want to risk it anymore, because I'm about to win, and this is almost another guaranteed win. So what we want to do here is playing safe as much as possible. And I'm pretty sure I don't have my Wending Grace yet, so I'm gonna try to buy it. I'm pretty sure in this run I'm gonna end up looking for a fort or something to buy it, because I know that I don't have it. So be aware of your Wending Graces. Try to not lose the track of them, otherwise you're gonna be in problems. In a regular game where you don't have the village merchant, you will have only access to one Wending Grace through the merchant, but you can, if you are lucky, you might get one from a reward. So the thing here is that you can get up to 3 revives in every game. 1 Wending Grace from the regular merchant during the expedition, 1 Wending Grace of the merchant of the day 3, and the regular revive you already have by playing solo. You will not have that one if you are playing in multiplayer. But if you want to climb first and then playing in trios, then you will have 3 revives. So here now I realize that I don't have that Wending Grace. Now what I have to do is look for it, but that is a detour that is actually not necessary, because I already was multiple times where a merchant was available. So here, as you can see, I'm spending a lot of time that I could be spending, I don't know, looking for stronger enemies or looking for enemies to get a higher level in my build already. I'm looking for a merchant that I had available a long time ago. So I also buy one of those aromatics. Those are one of the best aromatics you can get in Expedition. Because with the difference between that one and Blood Bowl aromatic is that one will have a damage negation effect similar to the successive attacks negates damage, but by default. The only problem is that it's not permanent. As soon as you get one hit, the protection will disappear. And now here, we are going for the night boss. The thing here is that I wanted to reach the level 15 at any cost before the night boss. But as you can see, we are a little bit unlucky because we have the flowers. It's gonna take hours with a poison build because it's resistant to poison. So I just pass it. And the other guy available is the Red Wolf of Radagon, or Red Wolf of the King Consort in this game, I think. But this is the Red Wolf of Radagon basically. And that enemy is really annoying with Ironeye because he can actually dodge the arrows. There are a bunch of enemies that can dodge the arrows, but they will still take the hit of the arrows. So they have the dodge animation, but they still take the damage. But this guy is not like that. He will actually dodge the arrows. Now this having these guys means that we are lucky and that we are gonna be fighting the Crucible Knight and the Hippo. It might not be the best one to fight with Ironeye, but it's an easy boss fight. It's not really bad at all. So now we just keep fight them slowly. And the only problem I have with this one is that it has that shield. So when farming Crucible Knights, you always want to farm the ones with the spear, because the ones with shield are always gonna block your arrows, and you will have to rely on your skill to deal the damage, you know. And the damage, as you know now, is not gonna be as great as it used to be, because it's gonna be based on the remaining HP. So it's gonna be dealing slightly less damage as you deal damage on them. But this is still pretty decent, because despite it's not we are not dealing heavy poison damage, we have a really good physical damage thanks to our level and to our relic setup. So here I actually performed pretty well, because the guy is almost down and I now have to face the Hippo, but the guy is not at half HP. And in this fight I'm gonna make a mistake because I panicked. I'm gonna use the skill early and I'm gonna be slammed by this Hippo. And this is what I mean by this game being extremely important to have all the chances of surviving. Here I dodge early, and in consequence I don't evade the attack, but I move around the attack, and then I land in the hitbox of the attack. So here so far I haven't spent any Wending Grace. I only spent the free revive we have per day, so as solo players. So now I just have to be more careful. And honestly, right now I'm saying it to chill, but here I was about to break my monitor because I was feeling already frustrated that I died multiple times there. Because at this point I'm trying to get a deathless run in this depth, but what the game asks you basically is for a no-hit run. And now if you pay attention to my HP bar, I am losing my max HP because of a debuff I had in one of my relics. In the relics I showcased at the start of the video, I don't have that debuff anymore, but in this run I had that debuff. The build is pretty much the same, but in that one I had that debuff. So as soon as I found better relics without it, I swapped them. And those are the ones you want to be using. Try to avoid that reduced max HP after near death, because it's gonna make you significantly more vulnerable. That's why I didn't showcase the setup I'm running here, because it's the same, but with that debuff in one of the poison effects. So you don't want to have that debuff. It's probably the worst debuff you can have in the entire game. But the relic setup is exactly the same. I'm running the exact same effects, man. But without that debuff. In this case, sadly, I didn't have an option at this point, but you will notice why is it bad in a second. Now, as I previously told you, I am not even close to be a really good player. I'm a decent player, I'd say. I think that what makes me strong as a player is that I tend to practice a lot, I tend to play a lot. But in a game where everything is randomized, where you don't know it's gonna happen next, the practice has to be... yeah, you have to be really good actually. You have to have some muscle memory, you know? So now we are going against the Gaping Jaw. At this point I was expecting to get the regular version, but surprise, we are in depth 5, it's gonna be the Everdark. So we don't panic, we use the ultimate to do some good starting damage and to boost my thrusting counter attacks. So now I have, as you can see, a lot of damage. And there I actually made a mistake because the way I dodged that is gonna be punishing me in the next phase. Here we are playing well, we are dealing some damage, using the ability to keep the guy marked, being careful with the attacks he does, and playing around him. That is exactly what you want to do in the phase 2 as well. And here I use the mark early, it's a mistake, but it works because of the attack it was gonna do. Now that is a good dodge, everything is going well so far. And now it comes the phase shift, and now we just have to go away. It's as simple as that. But here it comes the problem. I don't know what happens here that I'm still trying to learn how to dodge the attacks of this guy properly. I think the mistake is what I am doing, the early use of the skill, and that is punishing me a lot. Apparently everything is gonna go well now. I'm just doing this, doing the same, dealing some damage. I dodge the attack, everything is okay. I keep dealing damage, the guy is gonna go away, and here's when it gets dirty. I use the skill early, I die. And now I'm gonna get that debuff of the near death reduces max HP. And now that is why I didn't want to showcase that one, bro, because it's so bad. You don't want to have that debuff. And now I actually think that one was rolled in time, but let me know, guys, what I have to do there to dodge that attack properly. But as you can see, we are chilling. We still have 2 revives, if I'm not wrong, or 1 revive. Yeah, I think we only have 1 more revive, but this is still good. We already made 2 mistakes, so I still have 1 revive. But now the problem with the near death reduces max HP is that it stacks, so now I only have half of my HP. Thankfully there I used the skill properly, and now at this point I should have the shrimp already consumed, but I don't know why I didn't consume it at that point. So be sure to use your stuff. Now there I jumped early and I take the hit of the third. Oh no, I didn't take it there. I actually dodged that one correctly. But what I want you to see is how bad I actually play sometimes. Like this. This is my last revive. So this is what I mean why this build is actually so solid. You don't have to be really good. In this case I'm making a lot of mistakes, and I finally got the riposte. So instead of going for another hit or something, the riposte, because I was too far away from distance. If I was closer, some heavy attacks and then the riposte. But I was far away. So as you can see, even playing as bad as I did in this boss fight, we won, because we made a proper management of our resources. And that is exactly what you want to do. And I promise that you will be reaching that rank 5 pretty fast. Do I recommend you to go there? No, but that's up to you. GG's.